Hey guys, I'm Isaiah Rand, and today we're going to talk about the Bulls and the Knicks and which team is better, the revamped Bulls or the Knicks that also added a few signings during the offseason to booster their team. First off, the Knicks already made the playoffs last year. The Bulls struggled, were unable to make it, had some injuries and stuff, but they didn't even make it. Bulls did trade for Nikola Vucevic, I believe is how you pronounce it. And he actually did worse at first when he got there. His offense, he made their offense of rank go down to 22nd instead of 18th. That won't last, especially this year. However, here's the statistics. When he was in Orlando, he averaged 24.5 points, 11.8 rebounds, 3.8 assists. He averaged 1.9 turnovers, it's basically 2. He shot 40% from threes. And he took an average of 6.5, making 2.7. Since being with the Bulls last year, that same span, he shot 5.8 average, 2.3 made from threes, 38%. His his rebounds stayed basically the absolute same. He averaged a few less points. His turnovers went down a little bit. Overall in the season, he averaged 23.4 points, 11.7 rebounds, 9.6 defensive rebounds, and he shot 40% from three. He's going to be a big part in the Bulls this year. He is aging. He's been a solid player in the NBA for a long time, and he was a good trade for them. But the thing is, just how realistic is it that they can win? He's 30 years old. He has always had a pretty solid field goal percentage. He shot 47% for the Bulls. His best season was actually 51.9% in 2012 for Orlando. But he only had 13 points per game. His next best was in 2018 when he averaged 51.8 field goal percentage, 20 points per game average, basically 12 rebounds and 3 assists. Now he's solid. DeRozan, another solid add. DeRozan's never gone above 27 points per game average, and he's only done that once that he's averaged 27. You're really looking at a guy that's going to average around 23 points probably at his best for the Bulls. And he's a very good player. He doesn't take a lot of threes. He only takes 1.2 threes, 0.3 made for 25% last year. That's really just his whole career. He hasn't taken very much. The most he's taken in a season was 3.6. His highest field goal percentage from three is 33%. And I mean, it's not saying he can't make them if he does shoot them, but he doesn't shoot them very much. He's not a three-point shooting threat. He's a mid-range guy. He's going to get him points. He's a very good player. But when it comes down to it, is DeRozan enough to win a championship with Lonzo and Zach Lavine? And no. And Vucevic, no. It's not enough to get them that far. But it is a very solid team. Then you go to Patrick Williams, who had a pretty good summer league and was a solid rookie last year. He averaged 9.2 points, and he shot 48% from the field. People are going to say he's a good three-point shooter. He shot not even 2 on an average, 1.9. He made 0.8. So his three-point percentage is good. It's 39%. But it's skewed a little bit. We'll see how good he does this year, especially if he takes more shots. But for the amount he's taken, I guess that's pretty good. He also had some steals and blocks every now and then. So he's a solid guy. He's going to get better. And then there's Lonzo, who actually had his best season probably last year, honestly. He is a really good three-point shooter. He's going to do good for this team. But is he enough? He averaged 11 the year before last year, or 2 years ago, and he averaged 14 last year. He shot 37% from threes. He took 8.3 last year and made 3.1, 6.3 the year before, and 2.3. He's always been good at threes, to be honest, except for his rookie year. He's a very solid three-point shooter. He's averaging shooting eight threes and making 37%. That's one of the better percentages in the league. He's going to give the Bulls some three-point depth. They definitely lose it with DeRozan, and they lose it with the fact that Lauri Markkanen, however you pronounce his name, is most likely not coming back, and even if he is, it's probably short-lived because he doesn't want to be there. He wants a new start, and Lauri's their best three-point shooter by far until Lonzo comes on board. Lauri, if I can find it. Lauri averaged 40% last year on 5.3 average, 2.3 made, 34 the year before, 36, 36. He's by far their best three-point shooter, and he shoots it a lot. He's a good three-point shooter. He's been in the three-point contest before. He's a player that teams should want. And when it comes down to it, the best player on this Bulls team and the guy that they're going to look to the most, he's a very talented player. He's very good. Zach Lavine. And the thing about Zach Lavine, he's very talented. Anybody would want them on their team. Want him on their team, I mean. But when it comes down to it, there's some things he's got to improve on. And for one, that's turnovers. You don't want your best player to average so many turnovers, which a lot of good point guards do. Yeah, a lot of good point guards do. He averaged 3.5 turnovers last year. That's actually his highest he's ever had. He averaged 3.4 the 2 years prior. But that's a lot of turnovers. He did have 27.4 points average. He's an 84% free throw shooter. He shot 50% from the field. He's averaging throwing up 19 buckets, making 9. And he shot 8.2 threes, made 3.4. He's a 41% three-point shooter. And he had 8.1 the year before, 3.1, 38%. 37 before that, 34, 38, 38, 34. So him and Lauri were definitely the two best three-point shooters. Honestly, I probably would disagree with what I said earlier. Lavine's slightly better. He's a very good player. He's definitely a little bit better of a three-point shooter, but those are definitely the two best three-point shooters they have, Lavine and Lauri. And Lauri's not going to be back, so now you'd look to Lonzo to replace that, because even though Caruso every now and then comes up good, when you actually look at Caruso's stats, he doesn't shoot as many threes as you'd like. He only averages 2.4, 0.9 last year, 40%. And he's just, it's hard to read into the stats because he didn't really shoot very much. He's going to have an expanded role. How good will he be? I don't know. But I don't think it's enough for them to honestly probably even be better than the other team I'm going to talk about. So those 4 guys, though, average around turnover-wise will average around 14 turnovers, and that's the starters, which isn't too bad, I guess. But let's go to the Knicks and what the Knicks have personnel-wise. Kemba Walker, who averaged 19.3 points last year, 4.9 assists. He also shot 36% from threes on 8.2 attempts, 3 made. He's always been a pretty solid three-point shooter. His worst season was his second and third season in the league, and fourth season. Well, actually, his first 4 or 5 seasons weren't the best. He only got 30%, 32, 33, and 34. But after that, he hasn't had a season worse than 36. His last season with Boston was actually his worst season shooting threes. He's going to get you assists. He doesn't turn the ball over a lot, just two turnovers average. He's still a solid player. The thing about Kemba Walker is you just got to stay healthy. And if he can stay healthy, there's a lot of people that may not believe in him. But just like Derrick Rose, he can ball. And he's a good player. And he definitely makes the Knicks better. The Knicks already have R.J. Barrett. He's been with the team for 2 years. And each year he's gotten better. He went from 14 points his first season to 17 points per game. He shot 32% his first season in the league from 3, 40% his next season. He's a pretty solid three-point shooter. And this kid's only going to get better. It's his 3rd year in the league. He's going to be a focal point of this team. He's got to work on his free throw percentage. He only shot 74% last year. But he's a good player. And overall, he only shot 44% from the field, but he's in his 3rd season. He's a solid player. He helped them get to the playoffs. And along with the additions they make, it makes this team pretty dangerous. They also have, let's see. Oh, I forgot to mention Kobe White for the Bulls. He is also a pretty solid player. 35% from 3 last year and 6.6 attempts, making 2.4. Averaged 15 points per game. That's also another guy that's going to really help them and possibly be what helps them be a really good team in the playoffs. But then when you look at Julius Randle for the Knicks, guy's a beast. 24 points per game last year, 10 rebounds, 6 assists. He shot 41% from the threes, 5.5 taken, 2.3 made. That's his best three-point season. It's also the most he's taken. But he just straight balled last year. The best season other than that was 2.7 threes attempted, 0.9 made. But if he continues to be a three-point threat, they're really solid. Kemba's going to give him more three-point threat and also going to help spread the ball out and get things moving and help make it easier for Randle. Fournier. He averaged 13 points for the Celtics. When he was with Orlando, 19.7. For the total of that season, 17.1. He shot 46% from 3 during his time with the Celtics. 5.9 attempted, 2.8 made. With the Magic, it was only 38%. He attempted more threes, 7.2, and only made 2.8 for 38%. The total on the season was 41%. Once again, this is a guy that's been pretty good at making threes. All throughout his career, he's had a pretty solid resume with threes, not less than 34%. Better three-point shooter than a lot of guys. There's just a lot of guys that we say are really good three-point shooters, and when it comes down to it, they're not. But it's okay. But But the guy's a good 3-point shooter, and he's gonna continue to be. In fact, a better 3-point shooter than LeBron's been his whole career. Shocking. LeBron's a great player, but just ironic, because I feel like some people try to make him out to be a better 3-point shooter than he is, but Fournier and Walker are both better 3-point shooters their whole career. Not trying to take anything away from LeBron. Also, other than that, other than Fournier and Randle, they also have Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose is a huge piece to help them make the playoffs. Rose just had a revival in his career, and it's just so amazing to see how far he's came since everything happened, and he's continued to get better. But he came in and he had 14.9 points last year, 4.2 assists. He only had 1.4 turnovers. He handles the ball good. He's a great free throw shooter. He was 50% from 2-point range, 48% from the field. He even made 41% of his threes, taking 2.6, making 1.1. Derrick Rose was everything he needed to be last year for the Knicks, and it's just so awesome to see how far they've came and what he's doing. And he's a huge part of what they are. And him and Tom Thibodeau, they're going to make things happen. And they're a scary team. And even if you think the Bulls have more talent, it's really hard to pull for the Bulls. And there's Obi Toppin. Obi Toppin just destroyed Summer League except for the very last game. He's dominated, and he showed that he is ready for an extended role. I don't know if he's going to get much more minutes, but I think he can, and I think he probably will. He definitely outplayed Patrick Williams, the Bulls' second-year player, who averaged more points and started on a team, which shows that Obi would be probably starting on the Bulls right now for sure. So that's just part of the depth the Knicks have. But I wanted to make this video because someone told me I was stupid for saying the Knicks were better than the Bulls. But I hope y'all agree. On the paper and everything, the Knicks are a better team this year, even with the additions of DeMar DeRozan, Alex Caruso, and Lonzo Ball. It's not enough, and the Bulls are not as good as the other team, as the Knicks. The fact is, the Bulls still have a ways to go, and although Lonzo's good, I'm not sure he's really going to average much more points. He's good at getting the ball around, and they're going to be dangerous on the court. But I really like Julius Randle. I like the Evan Fournier and Kemba Walker pairing. And just RJ Barrett's going to continue to get good. And I really think Obi Toppin's going to start balling. I think they have more depth than the Bulls. I think that's really the best reason why I can say I think they're going to be a better playoff team and have a better chance of going farther in the playoffs. So you heard it from me. I think the Bulls are not as good as the Knicks. I think the Knicks are a better playoff team. I think both teams will make the playoffs. But my prediction is the Knicks will have the better regular season record and are the better playoff team. Thanks for listening and watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and share. I could use all the support I need. I can use all the support in the world. I love it. I just hope the videos are good. Like I said, like, comment, share, subscribe. Thank you. Have a great night.